7 signs your goodness is ruining your life. Kindness or self-sabotage. Hey everyone, just think about this. Imagine holding a piece of burning coal in your hand, just so others can feel warm. Your skin is scorching, and the pain gets worse with every step. But what do they say? They call you so kind. For many of us, that's exactly what our goodness is. A heavy burden that brings pain instead of joy. In this crazy world that constantly demands we sacrifice ourselves for others, Stoicism offers us an amazing balancing point. It tells us that true generosity doesn't require self-destruction. On the contrary, genuine kindness flows from a place of personal strength and well-being. We're not talking about giving until you're empty, but learning to give from abundance. Ready? Come, let's explore this ancient wisdom together. We're going to see how to protect that inner fire and share its warmth safely with the world. This is the path where every act of kindness is a cool choice, not a painful obligation. And remember, self-care is the absolute foundation of real generosity. Remember that coal? Now imagine you have a protective glove. You can comfortably offer its warmth to everyone, sharing its light without getting hurt. This is what Stoicism offers. A way to light up the world with your kindness while making sure your own inner fire burns brightly. So if you're ready to turn that tiring goodness into a source of power for yourself, let's start this super smart journey with the Stoics. 1. Constantly saying yes when you mean no. The first mistake, reluctantly saying yes. Think of it like this. There's a beautiful, calm lake in front of you, but you're holding a bunch of stones, each marked yes. With every stone you toss into the lake, what happens? The lake's peace is disturbed, it ripples. Every time you say yes like that, you are disturbing your inner peace. This tiny word, yes, actually shapes your destiny. When you say yes out of obligation, it's like adding another stone to your life's backpack. The weight pulls you down, dragging you along. That heaviness in your chest, that fatigue in your bones when you agree to something you don't want to do. That's it. Constantly trying to please everyone takes away your right to make your own choices and live life on your own terms. It doesn't just exhaust you physically, it drains you spiritually. You become a joyless, empty shadow of yourself. Imagine that person at work who runs around for everyone, always says yes to every expectation, and then feels completely burned out. Everyone goes to them for exploitation. They constantly give but never receive enough. This proves that even the purest intentions need to be guided by wisdom. And this is where the Stoic principle of boundaries comes in. Imagine drawing a light but sturdy fence around your valuable inner water source. This fence doesn't keep the world out, but it protects your most precious resource, your energy. Learning to say no, kindly but firmly, is building that fence. At first you might think, did I offend them? Am I being selfish? But this is the only key to sustainably helping others. Stoicism says, you can't pour from an empty cup. If you protect your own resources, you also protect your ability to give meaningfully. Every time you say no to something that drains you, you are actually saying yes to your own well-being, and ultimately to a greater capacity for future acts of true generosity. So, be brave, start small. Embrace that momentary discomfort that comes with saying no. The Stoics call this voluntary discomfort, meaning strengthening your will by saying no to your own impulses before you say no to others' requests. This is about choosing momentary discomfort over resentment, choosing growth over stagnation. Every no is a step toward a more authentic and fulfilling life. That small no can feel like a huge weight has been lifted off your shoulders. Remember, while saving yourself from burnout, you're also guaranteeing that your future gifts will be offered with the light and warmth they deserve. 2. Not setting boundaries and letting your energy be stolen. The second big mistake, not knowing how to draw the line, setting boundaries. We are all like interconnected threads, right? But if you don't set boundaries, you leave that thread loose and unattached. Everyone pulls at you, stretches you, and eventually you come to the breaking point. Boundary absence is a silent thief. It steals your time, your energy, and most importantly, your essence. You feel empty, like you've become a robot that only fulfills others' desires. Your own dreams. They are drowned out by the noise of never-ending demands. If you have no boundaries, there's a constant hum at the back of your mind. The tasks you take on feel alien to you, like they don't belong. The beautiful joy of helping others is suffocated in an ocean of obligations. The Stoics are very clear. Our most valuable resource is not money, it's time. Your time is limited, irreplaceable. How you choose to spend it directly affects your well-being. Saying yes to everyone indirectly means saying no to yourself, to relaxation, to growth, and to your passions. What did Seneca say about this? People are so unwise that if they receive a small replaceable thing from someone, they allow themselves to be considered indebted, but the person who takes the only thing that cannot be replaced, that is time, is not considered indebted at all. Stoicism gives you a sieve, a strainer. Pass every request through this sieve. Ask yourself, does this request truly align with my values and goals? Does it leave room for my own needs? This is not selfishness, it's sustainability. The Stoics say that self-care and caring for others are two sides of the same coin. They don't exclude each other. Let's practice. Imagine a family member or a colleague asks you to take on an extra task. Instead of an automatic yes, stop. Take a breath. Review your current commitments. Maybe you suggest a compromise or offer an alternative that won't compromise your well-being. This act of balanced kindness is not about rejecting others. It's about embracing your own value. It's a step toward a life where generosity is a gift not just to others but to yourself as well. This is the Stoic path, the path to a life of balance, purpose, and deep fulfillment. Saying no when your boundaries are violated or modifying a request to fit your limits might feel awkward at first. But this is kindness toward yourself and therefore toward others. Remember, a vibrant, whole you is a much bigger gift to the world than a burned-out, resentful husk. Protect your energy. Use your time consciously. Only then will you witness your true capacity for generosity bloom. 3. Neglecting your own self-care and getting burned out. Our third sign, ignoring your own self-care. Consider two gardeners. One constantly tends to others' gardens while neglecting their own, which is full of weeds. The other first makes their own garden beautiful, and then shares its surplus and beauty with everyone. Whose garden do you think thrives more? The one who practices self-care, of course. Every act of selfless giving is like a leaf you extend from your essence to the world. But for those leaves to stay green, the roots must be nourished. Self-care is not selfish, it's the opposite. It's the rain falling around your base, the sunlight warming your crown. When you constantly prioritize others' needs over your own, a subtle burnout begins. The branches of your life tree become bare, your shade shrinks. The joy of giving is replaced by a secret resentment, an obligation. An inner voice whispers, I have nothing left. Imagine pouring tea from an elegant teapot. Each cup is a gift, warming someone's hands, perhaps their soul. But what happens when the teapot is completely empty? You have nothing left to give. You become that empty teapot. The Stoics, always advocates of balance and wisdom, preach the principle of self-improvement, the idea that self-care is the cornerstone of caring for others. They understood that neglecting personal well-being weakens our ability to serve. Embracing this principle means recognizing that self-care is the deepest form of self-respect. It's acknowledging that only when you take care of yourself can you offer your best care to others. This is the vital lesson Stoicism gives us. Self-care is the act of refilling the teapot, whether it's restful solitude, a nourishing meal, a creative pursuit, or just deep breaths in silence. You return to yourself. This is not self-indulgence, it's a powerful act of sustainability. A renewed inner well allows you to give wholeheartedly without compromising your own light. So, nourish your roots, honor your needs. Discover that true generosity is born from abundance, not scarcity. 4. Taking on others' responsibilities, the butterfly effect. The fourth problem, diving into others' responsibilities. In the garden of life, we are both a flower and a gardener. We tend to others, nourishing them with our time and attention. But be careful not to overshadow their ability to grow on their own. Taking on others' responsibilities is like watering someone else's plant while letting your own wither. It might bloom for a while under your care, but it won't learn to sustain itself. When you leave, it will fade. This symptom of excessive helping is a subtle, double-edged sword. Because while you make yourself so necessary to someone else's journey, you are unintentionally stealing their chance to walk on their own. This is a dangerous thing disguised as love and commitment. It leaves you exhausted and them dependent on you. The damage is twofold. You lose sight of your own life path, and they miss the opportunity to learn from their own struggles and victories. Remember the butterfly analogy. It struggles to emerge from its cocoon. Your good intentions might tempt you to intervene, tear open the cocoon, and free the beautiful creature. But that struggle is vital. It is how the butterfly's wings gain the strength needed to fly. When you constantly step in to solve others' problems, you unknowingly steal their opportunity to learn, adapt, and build resilience. Dependency replaces independence. With every rescue, you subconsciously send the message, "You can't handle this alone." Stoicism suggests a different kind of help that strengthens the roots. See yourself not as a savior, but as a supportive guide standing beside them. Instead of giving answers, encourage them to find their own solutions. Let them stumble, trusting their ability to pick themselves up. The Stoics believed in empowering others to realize their potential. They understood that true support doesn't overshadow. Instead, it lights the path for others to walk. What does this mean? It means stepping back when necessary, allowing the people in your life to face challenges, learn, grow, and contribute independently. This is a practice of self-control and belief in others' abilities. It not only supports their development, but also frees you up to pursue your own growth. This is the essence of what the Stoics called sympathia, universal interdependence. By empowering others, you enhance the harmony of the whole, and in doing so, you find your own peace and purpose. I'm not suggesting cutting off help entirely. True support is a delicate balance. Offer them tools, resources, and perhaps a story from your own experience. Celebrate their small victories and remind them of the strength they already possess. This is a shift from "I'll do it for them" to "I believe in them." Empowerment is a much bigger gift than any temporary fix. With every challenge they overcome, their wings grow stronger. They might not always choose the smoothest path, but the lessons learned through their own effort pave the way for a more resilient and fulfilling future. 5. Feeling too sorry for toxic people, the bottomless pit. The fifth sign, over-empathizing with toxic people and draining yourself. On the path of life, we encounter individuals whose very presence sucks the color out of our world. Clinging to them is like holding onto a painful thorn. You, with good intentions, sacrifice your own life force in the hope that maybe they will change. This is a heavy cloak of empathy that becomes too much to bear over time. The first symptom of enduring toxicity for the sake of mercy is constant unease. The tension in your shoulders when you interact with them, the huge relief when they leave, and then the immediate guilt. Did I do the wrong thing? Your emotional reserves are running on empty. You are pouring your energy into a bottomless pit. You hope to fill it, but it never does. The cost is heavy. Your peace and joy vanish. Stoicism tells us, compassion is good, but it must be balanced with wisdom. You cannot light a fire for someone who refuses to gather the wood. Real change comes from within. Sacrificing your emotional well-being for another person's potential transformation is not wise. Imagine you pride yourself on being a good listener. You constantly listen to a negative friend steeped in drama. Despite all your efforts, that person's behavior doesn't change, and you find yourself emotionally exhausted, trying to soothe the chaos in your own life as well. This is a battle you cannot win. Negativity, manipulation, and refusal to take responsibility pollute the air around you. Even your naturally generous soul risks turning inward, becoming defensive and resentful. The Stoics, with a deep understanding of human nature, emphasized the principle of amor fati, love of fate. That is, embrace everything life throws at you. Simultaneously, they taught the wisdom of discerning what you can change and what you cannot. For you, this means accepting that you cannot control that person's actions. You can only control your reaction to them. This is about giving up the need to fix others and focusing instead on cultivating your own inner garden. Apply this Stoic principle to your life. Imagine setting clear boundaries with the people who drain your spirit. It's about protecting your heart with both kindness and firmness. It's realizing that you can wish them well on their turbulent journey without being a passenger in their chaos. That is the essence of amor fati. Finding the courage to let go with love, trusting that everyone must face their own battle, and in doing so, freeing yourself for your own values and well-being. Remember, compassion is not required to be limitless. You don't have to endure emotional abuse or let someone constantly undermine your well-being. You can acknowledge someone's struggle without drawing their storm clouds into your own sky. Setting firm boundaries and sometimes even walking away is the bravest act of self-preservation. This creates space for you to heal, allowing you to redirect your valuable energy toward healthier relationships. True compassion extends to yourself, and that sometimes means accepting that the greatest kindness is prioritizing your own inner peace. 6. Maintaining relationships that hurt you out of loyalty. The sixth mistake: clinging to harmful relationships purely for the sake of loyalty. Loyalty is a noble virtue, like the strongest steel. But when loyalty binds us to unhealthy relationships, it becomes a chain rather than a shield. Remaining out of obligation in relationships where ill treatment is constant is like drinking poison and hoping to be nourished. This is a quiet martyrdom that erodes the soul, leaving unseen but deeply felt wounds in the heart. Because of this misplaced loyalty, you feel like a ghost in your own life. Instead of fully living in the present, you wander the corridors of what once was or what might be. This sign of enduring toxicity out of obligation is a silent surrender that extinguishes your inner light and causes your true self to slowly withdraw. In the name of a misguided loyalty, you constantly sacrifice your happiness and suppress your needs. Yet, you have a right to a life filled with respect and love. Imagine you stay in a broken relationship believing it must be honored. Every encounter with this person leaves you exhausted, criticized, and feeling worthless. Yet you stay, thinking that loyalty requires it, believing you are doing them a favor. These bonds hold you together, but they also suffocate you. Loyalty is an admirable quality, yes, but Stoicism reminds us that it must be wisely directed. When loyalty becomes synonymous with enduring emotional pain or abuse, it turns into a weapon that pierces your own soul. You tell yourself, this is best, family, friendship requires it, but deep down, you know it's unsustainable. Stoicism teaches us that true freedom is not about external conditions, but about our internal choices. Even if you are bound by ties of loyalty, choosing to remain tied to toxicity is a gradual erosion of that internal freedom. Your right is to thrive in environments that uplift you, not diminish you. The Stoics offer a different perspective. They teach us the principle of preferred indifference, meaning some things are preferred, like relationships, but they should not disturb the peace of our inner fortress. For you, this means accepting that while these relationships are valuable, they should not come at the expense of your personal well-being. This is about understanding that true loyalty to others begins with loyalty to yourself. To apply this Stoic principle, consider setting boundaries that honor your self-respect. This might mean having an honest conversation, stepping back, or in extreme cases, walking away. This is not an act of betrayal. It is an act of self-preservation. For you and everyone facing a similar situation, this is about choosing paths that lead to peace and growth instead of staying on roads that lead to diminishing and chaos. This is the Stoic path, the pursuit of a well-lived life, freed from the chains of misplaced obligations, with wisdom and courage. It's not about abandoning loved ones. Stoicism advocates for drawing healthy boundaries even in the most complex relationships. This might mean limiting contact, having difficult conversations, or in extreme cases, disengaging. This is about prioritizing your own mental health. See it not as an act of defiance, but as deep self-respect. True loyalty is the kind that encourages growth, and it requires both parties to show the same respect. 7. Neglecting your own dreams for others. And the final sign, putting your own dreams on hold to support others. In the grand theater of life, each of us has a unique script filled with dreams and aspirations. But when we neglect our own dreams to support others, it's as if we're handing over our script, allowing someone else to write our lines and direct our scenes. This self-neglect is a subtle form of self-betrayal that manifests as a growing whisper of, "What if?" You realize that the role you're playing for others is not fulfilling you. You are forced to live your life in the background of someone else's story. It's like wearing a costume that never quite fits. This feeling of being put on hold, the ache of longing you feel when you see a bird with clipped wings in a cage, the silent envy that stings your heart. Your postponed dreams constantly remind you of this. Your potential slowly erodes. The spark that once drove you to pursue what you truly wanted fades. Imagine you loved to paint and dreamed of a future in art, but you said, "It can wait." You married someone your family chose, did what they wanted you to do, or studied what they preferred. Days turn into years, and your canvases remain empty. Opportunities you dreamed of but never painted slip through your fingers. Your once passionate soul starts questioning its own worth. Regret leaves a long shadow, a sharp reminder of the path not taken. The Stoics, with their deep understanding of personal agency, taught the principle of prohairesis. That is, the only thing you have complete control over is your own will and choices. Although supporting others is virtuous, they believed it should never come at the expense of our own will. Embracing prohairesis means making a conscious choice to honor your dreams alongside your commitments to others. To apply this Stoic wisdom, imagine dedicating a specific time slot every week to your personal projects, regardless of others' demands. This is about defending your right to pursue your dreams, to write your own script. For you and everyone who recognizes this sign in their life, this is about finding the courage to step into the spotlight of your own life, to live authentically and purposefully. This is a journey of balance. Supporting others and pursuing your own dreams do not clash. Instead, they are woven together harmoniously. Never forget this. Your dreams are not selfish. They are an important part of the legacy you leave behind. A vibrant, fulfilled you becomes an even greater source of inspiration and support for those around you. As we travel through life's tapestry, we weave threads of interaction, kindness, and support. Yet in the complex design of our days, it's crucial to remember that the strength of the weave depends on the integrity of each thread. To give to others, we must first be whole. When generosity is balanced with self-care, we don't just survive, we thrive. And those around us thrive too. As we close this segment, let us carry the wisdom of balance with us. Let us always remember that we must be the artist of our own well-being, even in the fog of obligation. If this message resonated with you, if it stirred something deep in your heart, I invite you to join us by subscribing to the channel. Your support is the very enthusiasm that feeds our journey together. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here, for listening to me, and for being a part of this journey. Until next time, take good care of yourselves, and remember, the deepest support we can offer begins with the love we give ourselves.